You know, in industries where safety is everything, think medical devices, aerospace, pharma, there's this constant tug of war going on. On one side, you've got engineers, and they're wired to build and innovate like yesterday. On the other side, you have the quality teams, and their job is to make sure every single I is dotted and T is crossed for compliance. It just naturally creates this friction, right? A slowdown that almost feels unavoidable. But is it really?
It really does feel like this built-in clash, doesn't it? A conflict that's just part of the system, slowing everything down. But what if it doesn't have to be that way? I mean, is this fight actually necessary to make safe, high-quality products? That's the big question we're going to dig into.
So at the very heart of this whole thing is a classic dilemma. It's this crazy tightrope walk between innovation and compliance. If you lean too far one way, towards speed, you risk falling behind the competition. But if you lean too far the other way, towards caution, your innovation just stops. And if you get the compliance part wrong, whoa, the consequences are huge. We're not just talking about losing money, we're talking product recalls, massive fines, and losing the trust of the public.
When you boil it all down, it looks like their goals are completely at odds. Engineers, they're judged on shipping new, amazing features. Quality professionals, they're judged on guaranteeing that everything is absolutely safe and by the book. So when these two teams are stuck working in separate systems with totally different processes, that friction isn't just a possibility, it's pretty much a guarantee.
And this whole situation creates what I like to call the burden of proof. It's this huge, heavy weight that both teams are forced to carry around every single day. It's that constant, absolutely exhausting need to document, justify, and defend every single move they make. So let's see what that burden actually looks like for each team.
Okay, so check this out. It's really two sides of the exact same coin. For engineers, it's what they call the documentation nightmare. I mean, can you imagine? For every single change, no matter how small, they have to produce a mountain of evidence just to keep everything traceable. Then for the quality pros, it's the audit scramble. They're the ones who have to stand in front of auditors and defend every single piece of that paperwork, proving it meets super strict standards like ISO 13485. If there's even one tiny gap, the whole release could be in jeopardy. It's the same burden, just seen from two different, really high-pressure perspectives.
So, how on earth do you solve a problem like this? Well, you don't by making one side win. You do it by getting them to work from the exact same playbook. Unite them on one single foundation, a single source of truth. And for a ton of companies in these critical industries, that foundation is a platform called Orcanos. So Orcanos is what's called an integrated ALM and QMS platform. I know, a couple of acronyms, so let's just make it simple. ALM, or Application Lifecycle Management, that's the engineer's world. It's everything from the initial idea to the final release. QMS, Quality Management Systems, that's the quality team's domain, all about compliance, safety, and audits. For forever, these have been two separate worlds. By bringing them together into one connected platform, you're not just connecting data, you're connecting the actual teams and getting rid of the silos that cause all the problems.
And this is a total game changer. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how people work. When everybody is looking at the same information, the whole dynamic changes. Documentation stops being this awful chore for engineers and just becomes a natural part of what they do. And quality professionals? They can stop chasing people down for paperwork because they have real-time visibility. That old opposition just melts away and turns into real collaboration.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. That all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work? Well, it all comes down to having specific, really smart features that are designed from the ground up to help both engineers and quality professionals at the exact same time. Let me give you 3 quick examples. First, there's integrated design control. This means every single requirement is tracked, it's versioned, and it's electronically signed. Simple. Second, this creates an automatic audit trail. Every single line of code is instantly linked back to the original requirement it came from. And finally, risk management isn't some forgotten spreadsheet somewhere. It's built right into the system, so safety is always part of the conversation. This literally turns documentation from a manual nightmare into an automated process. And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. The industry is really taking notice. This is a chart from GigaOM that maps out all the major players in this tech space. And look, right where Orcanos is, positioned as a challenger and a fast mover. That means it's seen as a strong, forward-thinking platform. And check out the high ratings in the exact areas we've been talking about: compliance support, requirements management, and quality assurance. That's some serious third-party validation that this whole approach actually works.
So, after all is said and done, what's the ultimate result? What's the real business outcome of all of this? Well, it's about achieving two goals that, for a long time, seemed like they were completely at odds: getting smarter about compliance and getting to market a whole lot faster.
It just creates this beautiful, seamless flow. From day one, a requirement is linked to its tests, its risks, all of it. Any changes have to be controlled with formal e-signatures. And that traceability matrix, that horrible document that used to take weeks of manual labor to create, it's now generated automatically. Poof! So when you're ready to release, you're not scrambling for paperwork. You have a complete, totally defensible audit trail just waiting for you.
So the bottom line is this: you completely eliminate the friction between your teams, you slash that manual documentation burden, and you de-risk the entire audit process. And what's the result? You get to deliver high-quality, fully compliant products to the people who need them, and you do it faster than you ever thought possible.
This quote from Orcanos themselves just sums it all up perfectly. Their entire platform is built around one singular mission: to shorten the time to value for customers in the world's most demanding, most regulated industries. It's about taking that necessary burden we talked about and turning it into a real competitive advantage.
So we kind of end up right back where we started. That friction between engineering and quality, it feels inevitable, but what we've seen shows it really doesn't have to be. So I'll just leave you with this one final question. If that documentation nightmare and that audit scramble just vanished tomorrow, what could your team actually achieve with all that reclaimed time and energy? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.